Hey Astro Kids, and welcome back. This is your horoscope for May 16th, 2020, and we are still dealing with this Mars conjunct series where this is a time of focusing on your dreams, on believing in your vision of what you want to see fulfilled in your life. But be careful that we are not focusing on fantasy and focusing on this belief that is outside of what is actually truly happening in reality, especially as we are dealing with this Neptune conjunct the moon. And this is an exact conjunction of the moon and Neptune in Pisces. This is a very confusing period of time here where we are focused in on our feelings of the fantasy of what we want to believe, what we want to feel, what we want to dream, especially dealing with relationships, as remember that this is Neptune in a square to Venus retrograde. And so, are we trying to make up these stories based on what we want to feel, what we believe is true in our heads? This is a major moment here of getting swept away by fantasies and stories and beliefs in our imagination. And so, this is a major time of being very cautious of what we are believing as the truth, especially as this is the North Node in Gemini. We are dealing with what is logical, what is the truth, what are the actual facts in this reality, especially with the ruler of Gemini, Mercury, also at home here in Gemini, that this is a time of not getting lost into this belief. And this is Mercury in a square over to Ceres in Pisces. And so, as we're nurturing our beliefs and we're following our intuition, there's a big question of whether this is the truth, whether this is actually logical, or if this is just a story, a belief that we are trying to lead and initiate our lives with, that we are trying to act on with this conjunction to Mars and Pisces. And so, are we trying to act on a false story in our heads about what it is that we want to have, what it is that we desire, that is not actually the truth? This is a big question here on May 16th, as we have this moon in a conjunction with Neptune. There is a lot of fantasy, a lot of illusion that is trying to stir its way up to the surface of this belief that we can hold on to something that is not actually real and true in reality. This story, this belief in our minds. And remember that we're dealing with these stories and beliefs that are holding us in these karmic patterns with this South Node in Sagittarius. And so, are we trying to stay stuck in these old patterns and cycles of these stories and beliefs that we are trying to tell ourselves? Or are we going to head towards the actual facts and the true connection of what we want to experience? Especially with this North Node in a conjunction to Vesta and Venus in Gemini, that what we really want and what we really want to experience and create in our reality comes from actually connecting in reality and trusting in the facts and the logical steps to get you there, versus this belief and this story and this dream and vision that we are trying to hold on to with this South Node in Sagittarius. And so there's a lot here of trying to escape into the fantasy, into the belief that is in our heads here on May 16th, But there is a big question of whether we are actually going to trust in the true facts and details of what is really happening in our reality, or if we're going to try to escape. And big lessons of escape as we are having this sesqui-square over to Pluto in retrograde. And so, are we trying to tell ourselves that we can hold on to and latch on to these past experiences and these fears and these intense feelings that we are trying to keep ourselves stuck in for the sake of control? Are we trying to control the narrative with these past feelings and experiences? But with this sesqui-square, this is a conflict of what is actually really going on in our reality. And so with this Pluto retrograde, it is time for us to clear out these old past attachments. And so if we are trying to hold on to an old relationship, especially during this time here of May 16th, and trying to make something work that is not truly meant for us, holding on to a toxic experience, this is very damaging. This is a space of wanting to control, which is actually stepping into this place of fear, right? This is a space of extreme illusion, of believing these stories in our heads. This is coming up big time here with this Moon and Neptune and Pisces, especially dealing with these last degrees of Pisces. That are we still trying to convince ourselves that we can make something work that we need to let go of? And so as we're going through this Pluto retrograde, through this clearing process, this is time to clean up these past attachments that we are trying to still convince ourselves that we can make work. This is time to clear out all of this attachment to this pain, this fear, these past experiences, so that we can move on and enter into this change that is going to pull us into a new experience. Because there is a new experience here that is waiting for us, especially with the Sun here in Taurus at these last degrees getting ready to enter into Gemini, that is in this trine over to Pluto. And for those of you who follow me on Facebook and Instagram, you have seen the horoscope for May 15th here, where we're in this trine of the Sun in Taurus and this Pluto retrograde, where this is a major time of actually having everything that you want and entering into this new story by letting go, by surrendering. But are we trying to hold on to this old form of power and control by staying in the same situations? So this is a major time where if we can allow ourselves to let go of these fears and these patterns and these toxic situations, then we have this space to enter into a new experience, a new opportunity that is of the highest value to us in our lives. Remember that this is a Uranus in Taurus. And so we are clearing out this old structure, this old foundation, this old form of comfort and security, and stepping into what is truly of the highest value to us in our lives. And so this is a major test of, are we going to open the doorway for this new experience. Because remember that we have Juno here in Libra, where this is a brand new experience of committing fully to this new experience. But with this quincunx over to Uranus and Taurus, are we trying to hold back? Because this is different, this is unusual, this is pulling us out of our comfort zone. And this is forming a yod over to Ceres and Pisces. And so are we going to move towards this divine connection and union and commitment of what we fully want to experience by going through this change of allowing ourselves to surrender to our feelings, to our needs, to our situation of clearing the past and releasing these old subconscious blocks? And so this is a big time of not falling into illusions and old past stories of what we want to see in our lives that is not truly the reality of where we are headed. Are you ready to fully surrender, as we are dealing with Pisces, with this Moon conjunct Neptune and Pisces, that this is a major time of Pisces ruling the sky, Pisces being this sign of surrender. Are we going to surrender to the experience that we want to have and hold in our lives at this time? Or are we going to try to escape through a past cycle? Now I'm going to pull over the cards that I pulled from yesterday, as this is carrying over the energy from yesterday, as we are here in this major time of trying to hold on to past stories and getting swept into these fantasies and illusions of what is not actually the truth. There is a big question here of whether you are willing to, once again with that Juno and Libra, commit fully to the experience that you want to have in your life. This is the Ace of Wands. This is a brand new experience that is here for you. But are we going to block ourselves? The challenge card here is Black Moon Lilith in reverse. Are we going to block ourselves by denying what we actually want to feel and experience? And so there is a major block here of trying to hold ourselves back from the experience that we want to have in our lives. And this is a boomerang that we are experiencing here with this yod, as we have this opposition over to Chiron and Aries. And so once again, we are trying to block ourselves from this destined experience for ourselves by holding on to these old fears of who we should be and how we should show up. What is this identity block that is holding you back from what you want to truly experience? It's a big moment of going in and asking the question of what is it that you truly want. Because with Mars here in reverse, we are not willing to act on this new experience. And remember that Mars is in Pisces, where are we going to act with belief with the intuition of knowing that we fully believe in the dream and the vision of where we are going. And so are we following our intuition at this time, or are we trying to force an old story to happen when there is a brand new story that is waiting for us in our lives? Last card here is the Six of Wands. You can be victorious if you are willing to go through this process of surrendering and letting go to fully accept this new experience. And so once again, are we trying to block ourselves with that Mars in reverse from having this victorious moment in our lives? That was your horoscope for May 16th, 2020. Thanks so much for joining. If you enjoyed this, feel free to leave a like as well as a comment. If you are new to this channel, don't forget to hit the subscribe button as well as the notification bell so that you don't miss out on any new content. To share some spiritual wisdom, motivational advice, positivity, feel free to join the group Astro Metaphysical Love and Light on Facebook. And I want to thank you all once again so much for joining. I hope you all have a great day, and I will see you in the next video.